Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's devotional. Just a short thought for you today from 1 John chapter 2, verses 15 through 17. It's a thought designed to maintain our perspective in this world. John says, "Do not love the world or the things in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him." The understanding the love of the world or the things of the world, it's very much like what Jesus says. You cannot serve two masters. You either serve God or you serve mammon. You can't serve both. And the idea of serving mammon is serving those things that are of the earth, those things that are of physical, where my entire, or my focus, my attention is of the earth, as opposed to, or serving God, my attention being on God. You can't have it both ways. And John says, do not love the world or the things of the world, because the world, as he says in verse 17, is passing away for one thing, but also it's in contradiction to loving the Father. You can't love the things of the world in the sense of serving them, in the sense of committing yourself to things that are sinful, versus serving the Father. You can't do both. It's important to remember that certainly we can enjoy things of the world that God has allowed, but we can't commit ourselves, first of all, to the sinful things, much less allow things that should be there just to enjoy for whatever reason, to allow them to kind of be something that we then commit ourselves to, allow them to become idols. Then in verse 16, he says, "For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world." Ultimately, every sin that you can think of, in some form or fashion, will fall into one of these three categories, or multiples of these categories. The lust of the flesh is the attention of pleasure in this world. Lust of the eyes would be the things that we look at that may cause us to sin. Certainly covetousness would be an example of that. The pride of life, being high-minded, having this maybe trust in uncertain riches that Paul warns about in 1 Timothy chapter 6. Every possible sin that we can think of in some connection or form will fit into one of these three or multiples of these three categories. And John says, the world is passing away in the lust of it, but he who does the will of God abides forever. All of this stuff of the world, again, God gives us all things richly to enjoy, again, within the authority and within the allowance of what God wants us to do. But we are not to be unduly connected to the things of the world. We shouldn't allow these things to cause us to not serve God the way that we should, and certainly not to cause us to put so much attention or trust in them that we're no longer looking to heaven, that we're no longer looking forward to that home that waits for us. But unfortunately, for many people of our world, this is all that they have. All that is in the world. Okay, John says this is everything in the world. The lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, the pride of life. For many people of this world, that's all there is. And yet, all of their trust, all of their connections, their commitments to the things of this world, it's all passing away. And all they're going to be left with is facing God in judgment. And we have to beware of this and make sure that we do not unduly love the world or pay attention to the things of the world more so than we pay attention to what God wants us to do, and to make sure we are aware and beware of all that is in the world. Make sure that we have the love of the Father in us as opposed to the love of the world. It's about keeping perspective. And I think we all regularly need reminder to maintain proper perspective in this world, because it's easy to lose perspective in the midst of our daily routine, our daily schedules, the things that come up on a regular basis. It can be easy to forget that this is not my home. My home is with God in heaven, and I need to make sure that I'm doing everything I can to get there, and to not forget that all of this stuff, it's not going to last. All right, that's the devotional for you today. Lord willing, our next devotion will be on Friday, tomorrow. I hope to see you all then. Thank you, everybody.